Hi, everyone, and a very warm welcome to all the educators joining us today. If I'm audible, can someone leave a thumbs up in the chat box so that we'll know that the audio is audible to everyone? So, a very warm welcome to all the educators joining us today. On behalf of CENTA, we are delighted to have you with us for another insightful session in our ongoing CENTA webinar series for teachers, a space where passionate educators come together to learn, reflect, and grow professionally. Your presence and participation continue to inspire us as we build a stronger, more empowered teaching community. And we are thrilled to say that we have come up with an initiative to make the space more structured towards learning, reflection, and growth. We have restructured the approach based on the Senda standard that is globally recognized and widely acknowledged. We will share more about information about this towards the end of the session. Now, it is our pleasure to introduce the facilitator for this transformative session, Mr. Raghavendra Dwivedi. So, Mr. Raghavendra Dwivedi is an experienced education professional and teacher trainer with over a decade of rich experience in school education and teacher development. He is associated as a resource person with CENTA, AIEF, and Army Public Schools, actively contributing to teacher training initiatives and professional development programs across diverse platforms. His area of expertise includes competency based education, Hindi pedagogy, classroom engagement strategies, and logical lesson planning. Mr. Raghavendra Dwivedi, once again, welcome to the session and over to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ma'am, and the team center for having me here as a resource person and today's facilitator. Now, as today's topic, we already aware from that logical lesson flow and questioning, which is very important. So yes, I think before begin the session, we must know about the what objectives, right? So yes, what are the objective of the session is sequence learning from prior knowledge to application, right? Because yes, we most of the time what we used to do that we don't make a sequence. We have plan, we have plannings, we have the we also most of the time what used to do prepare some lesson plans. We have templates by the whichever is already provided by the schools. But yes, that is somewhere like paperwork that includes. But yes, when we comes in the real time, so what is happening? Somewhere something is getting lag. And what is getting lag? Planning. We are making plan, I know that, but yes, on the paper. But what we actually is doing, somewhere it's getting lagging. I know that, dear teachers, you are already doing too much better for today's generation, but yes, somewhere is getting lag. What is this? Sequencing. There is a term which is known as sequencing is getting lag. Suppose that we are in hurry. So yes, what we used to do, we used to skip some of the topics that yes, you can study at your home, you can do like this. No, we can still do, but yes, I think there is a need of what we need to promote gamification the learning. I know that yeah, somewhere it's off topic, so yes, we will discuss on the later ones. Now second objective is that we will design lessons that build conceptual clarity step by step, how we need to design, because this next question will be going on into your mind, that is how we need to design step, what are the exactly is the key steps. First objective we have already find out. The one thing is this, what that we need to set the sequencing technique, but what exactly is about to do the next step, right? That how to create. Now we will also see that frame questions that trigger reasoning, not just the recall. Somewhere there is an inclusion of what elicitation strategies. Somewhere we need to elucidate to our children so that they will get motivated and they will participate in each and every activity. And when they will participate, dear teachers, believe me, sequencing so will be definitely ongoing process, and it will get automated. It will get automated. I always every workshop, each and every workshop, I used to include a word Okay, the keyword is automation. Because yes, it's the era of AI automation. So yes, we need to automate. And how we can automate our teaching, so it's very important. We should must know about it, right? Anticipate student response and plan follow-up questions. Align lesson stages with learning outcomes effectively. Yes, it's very important. Learning outcomes, LO. LO is very important because there's learning outcomes, and one another word is this what learning objective. And before going on to this, we must know about the difference objective and the outcome, right? Differentiate questioning for very learner levels, because teachers, when we used to see, there are 10 fingers we have, even in single hand we have 5 fingers. Can you see that each and every finger is equal? Can you see? No, your answer will be no. So yes, teachers are classroom is what? Hand is the classroom and fingers is what? The students. So we need to manage accordingly, right? So yes, we can conclude about this that yes, before we begin, let's first understand what we are going to achieve today. I have already discussed. Okay, so now the what is actually the now the term is lesson flow, because yes, as I also mentioned in the topic that logical lesson flow and questioning. We will move on to the term questioning on the later ones. First, we will discuss what exactly is the lesson flow, because yes, why is it matters, we must know about it also, right? Because there is a, according to the goal of NEP, we must know the why type questions about each and everything, right? So yes, when we say logical lesson flow, we are talking about how learning progresses step by step. It's not a random teaching, it's a planned sequencing, teachers. It's a planned sequencing. As I earlier stated, a word which is known as sequencing. Teachers, it's a keyword of this session. What is this? Sequencing, right? Each stage should connect with the previous one and prepare students for the next. If the flow is clear, student can easily build their understanding without feeling lost. Most of the time what happens, students used to feel lost. They get confused that what is the flow. Even you can still remember your childhood days. Most of the time what happens, that you will be able to discuss, you will have to discuss with the toppers, you will have to discuss with the other students, or the even you will have to discuss with your teacher also, that which kind of topic has completed, what topics are completed, and what topics are going on, and what is has to be done in the future. Even now this thing is also happening today, also this is happening in the classrooms, right? And why is that happening? Because there is no sequence. I know that you are also maintaining sequence, but yes, as I said, that some percentage, few of the percent is getting lag, and we need to reduce that gap, right? We need to reduce the gap first, right? Yes, each stage, even when I as I also said that each stage, I also use the word, okay, there is a stage, right? So yes, each stage should connect with the previous one. As I said, it's very important to see the stage, means we must prepare our logical lesson flow in such a way that must be interrelated and correlated. And teachers, one warning to you, all of you, that one instruction, that is, schools are constantly sending to you, all of you, that, and you are all requested to fill it and see your responses, right? So yes, it builds concept through intentional sequencing, means we are going to prepare an order. We need to think and then execute our instructions. Activates and integrates prior knowledge. As I said, we need to relate our concepts. Sometimes what we used to do, suppose that there was a gap of holidays or few leaves, okay, and then we used to skip that topic. Some of the time, I'm not going to say that on daily basis, but yes, some of the times it happens. We used to get it skip, right? So yes, we need to reduce that particular gap. Whatever the gap is occurring, we need to reduce, right? Okay, bridges gaps between concepts step by steps, as I said. Okay, ensures a smooth cognitive transition. Yes, transition is the very important keyword. When we come to transition, means to take shift across stages. We used to get shift, na, upper to lower and lower to upper, like this, na. Aligns teaching flow with learning objectives, right? We need to align our teaching methodologies, means styles, even according to the children pedagogies. When we come to pedagogies, means is to learn, right? How the children is learning, what is the method of the children to grasp any kind of thing in the mind, right? Reduces cognitive overload. Yes, when we will be following these thrice steps, so we will be able to reduce our load for the learners, because yes, some of the times what happens, suppose that you're also going to maintain a sequence, and even I believe that you all are maintaining the sequence also, right? I believe that, but yes, most of the time what happens, we are unable to reduce the overload. We are unable, somewhere we are getting lag in this point also. First point was that the sequence, second point is this, what? Overload. Children is getting everything, children have notes and everything whatever you have taught, but yes, what about the load and pressure? So we need to reduce it now, and when we will reduce, then outcome will definitely get positive. And when the outcome will be positive, what is this? It's all about automation. Again, I am seeing that automation. We can automate our teaching with few of the smaller tiny methods and see the result, right? Support differentiated learning pathways, right? We need to support different, as I said, that every child has different pedagogy to grasp, to learn everything, right? Not everyone is equal in the strength or merits, right? It's also the fine one now. So yes, we need to design our sequence or lesson in such a way that it must be applicable on each and every student, and must be follow the principle of differentiated learning or differentiated instruction. It's very important. Now move on to the next. Why lesson flow matters? Because yes, as I said now, that we must know about the question of why type questions. We must be aware about this, right? So yes, now think about a class where ideas are not connected. A student may feel confused or overloaded. A logical lesson flow here, what is to do, reduces cognitive overload, strengthens connections between concepts, and clarity, helps in better retention. What will happen in the result? In the end, what will happen? It will be able to reduce overload, and what will be the merit the child will get? The better retention. He or she will be able to get the better retention, right? It ensures that learning is not just happening, but happening effectively, right? It ensures that, again, I am saying that learning is not just happening, it is happening by default, but yes, but happening in the effective manner, right? It's happening in the effective manner, right? So yes, supports active processing of information. In the end of this process, you will be able to see improves long term learning transfer, because yes, yeah, long term is very important. Teachers, you can still see, even suppose that you are the CEO of any organization or the company, so you will see that collaboration will must follow the policy of what? Long term policy of the word long term. Some of the time you will be able to see there is a sentence like, we want the long term association. So what is this? Do you think that it's only the keyword is only helpful in the career? It's also implementing or coming in the teaching sector also, learning sector also. It's including long term is very important, right? And transfer, you can still relate with the previous one, as I said, that the transition and the transfer, we have to take shift in each and every step, each and every topic, each and every bullet, right? Move on to the next. Stages of a lesson. Yes, every effective lesson has certain stages, and each stage has a purpose. We start with introduction, move to engagement, then explanation, right? Then practice, assessment, and there are so many etc. process, right? And finally, what we used to do, closure, right? As teachers, we need to be intentional about how we move across these stages so that learning becomes structured and meaningful. Teachers are main goal, because yes, I know that the session goal is about to only understand about what? Lesson flow, lesson questioning, logical flow, and stages, and how to design or frame questions. But what is the goal of exactly a teacher? What is the goal? Goal is about only the in a one line, suppose I want to say that to make learning effective and meaningful. Some of the time what we used to do, We make our learning effective. But when you see the feedback from the students or the parents, you will be able to see that that feedback is not designed or framed in a constructive manner by the parents or the students. Why? Somewhere we are not making or designing our teaching styles, or we are not able to making learning meaningful. I agree, teachers. I agree from your point that you are able to design your teaching learning strategy in a better manner, in an effective manner. But yes, somewhere you are getting lag. That how to prepare teaching, how to design teaching in a meaningful manner, how to deliver in a meaningful manner, right? So we need to work on that, right? So introduction activity activates prior knowledge and sets concept, right? Engagement simultaneates curiosity and attention. Yes, in the engagement, what this happens? You can still take the example of a marriage. There's a ceremony which is known as what? Engagement. You can relate, I think, from this one very well. Now, it enhances curiosity and attention. Now, you will be able to see very effectively what exactly the process are going on, what exactly the things are following, right? Explanation builds conceptual understanding. Yeah, some of the time, what we used to do, we are going to build, everything in a very effective manner. Even we used to think we have a goal to design everything in an effective manner. But yes, what we happen? We skip the introduction, we skip the engagement. What we used to do, we used to start to relate the concepts, right? We used to relate the conceptual understanding directly. So teacher, if you want, seriously wants to design a good stages of a lesson, to deliver a good lesson, what you need to do, you need to cover up all the stages, right? It's very important. Now the term is practice. It reinforces learning through application. Yeah, it's very common to us. Assessment monitors understanding in the real time. Yeah, it enhances, even tells about the monitoring, that how the what is the score or result, whatever, right? Closure consolidates learning and connects forward. It's very important point. So some of the time, we also used a phrase which is known as, now very common phrase, first impression is the last impression. It happens, yeah. So yes, here first impression is about what? Introduction. And the last impression is all about what? A closure. A closure, right? Now, strong introduction. As I said now, that we need to introduce our topic in a very effective manner. I said now. So what we need to do? What we need to do? So yes, introduction is not just about starting the class or writing the topic on the board. Some of the time, what we used to do, we have written the topic on the board and we pre-assume that children are already aware, students are already well known about this. I know that they have already studied in the previous one, previous topic, previous standard of class. But yes, what about today? Some of the, as I said now, differentiated learning. Every child has different state. Every child is unique in the strength, right? So definitely every child is unique, as I said. So some of the student will be able to engage very well as they are able to remember that particular topic. Some of them were not able to relate that particular topic with the previous one or the previous modules, right? Happen now. It's that happened now, right? So when students are able to connect new learning with what they already know, understanding becomes easier. A strong introduction sets the tone for the entire lesson. And even teachers, I would like to ask that, I want to answer from you that how do you usually start your lesson? Anyone can, write their question. Anyone can write this answer, right? How do you usually start your lesson? Please. Okay. So yes, a strong introduction always includes what? Clear and measurable learning outcomes. Learning outcome is very important, right? Establish relevance with real life context. Because yes, as I said, the first impression, again I'm using a word, first impression. And in the first impression, if you are able to make or create or design a sequence for that particular lesson, so yes, it's will always build a cognitive curiosity. And whenever a child with, yeah, throw discussions, I got an answer in the comment section, throw discussions. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful teachers, wonderful. I was seriously expecting that. Okay, because discussions always promotes what? Good sequence. Whenever you will discuss any topic, anything about from the student, you will get to know about their feedback, that what, how much they know about that particular one, right? Establish relevance with real life context. Yes, it happens. Prepare learners for the learning journey. They will be able to know that what is the outcome of this kind of topic, right? They will be able to know, right? Now move on to the next. Next is all about that your engagement. What will be the engagement, how the children will get engaged with the experience, engagement now. So yes, at this stage, our goal is to actively involve learners. We can use collaborative strategies like think, pair, share, real life examples, or short tasks. You know, teachers, even whenever I'm going to relate this situation, okay, situation of what? The pressure. You will be thinking that are what about the children pressure? Even we are already holding a lot of pressure of our job in the workplace, at the workplace, right? Yes, we need to manage that, and we can still conduct some of the activities as I discussed. Then they should be thinking, discussing, and participating. You know, we need to design short, purposeful learning tasks. I know that we have less amount of time. We don't have much time to extend our activity duration, extend our lecture duration. I know, I strongly agree. But yes, teachers try to, apart from the discussion portion, you can still conduct some of the cognitive processing related activities, as I said. Now, you can, yeah, I'm already aware from it. We all are going to integrate real life context to enhance relevance now. But yes, some of the time what we used to get lag. We used to get lag very well, right? So yes, we need to engage, and one of the most common activity is very, even my favorite activity is what? Think, pair, share. It always promotes collaboration, teamwork, it always promotes. Suppose that you have given a task about water cycle. So yes, you can give them a task about something like the whatever. There will be inclusion of what? First thinking. Second element is what? Pair, means group. And third one will be what? Share, means they will give the presentation, or they whatever you will give according to the task, right? Share element will be always dependent on your task, that which kind of task you have given to them, right? Now move on to the next explanation stage. It's very important. While explanation, we need to be very clear and structured, right? Instead of giving too much information at once, we should break it into smaller parts. It's very important. We also need to scaffold learning, means moving from simple to complex, right? At the same time, we should keep checking, understanding, and address misconceptions immediately. I think it's very important. The immediately keyword in my sentence is very important. Some of the time we used to skip. What we used to do, we used to skip some of the times, but it shouldn't be now. We don't have need to skip. We need to handle immediately. At the instantly we need to handle, right? Means we need to use clear and concept focused language. Some of the time what we used to do, suppose that there is a culture in your organization or the school that you will have to speak in English only. But yes, whenever you will be able to see the your student are familiar with Hindi, so what will you do? Will you think that you are speaking English or any other language, or your student will be able to relate each and every concept? They will be able to gain maximum knowledge? They will be able to gain real world insights? No, we can't expect, right? Chunk content into manageable segment. We need to divide a particular segment, right? Scaffold learning means from simple to complex. Some of the times it happens that we used to presume, right? We used to presume what we used to do, that like we can still take the example of what introduction stage, like we used to do that, presume that, yeah, this concept must be clear. You all must be aware from it. So we are going to skip it and moving on to the next one. But yes, every child is unique. Once again, I am saying that. Our all five fingers are not equal. Even though you can see my background, wherever right now I'm having my conference with all of you. Take, okay. So what you will be able to see that, every background is somewhere looking different. Here on my left hand side, the background is getting different. On this side, the background is looking different. So what do you think that each and every children or the student will be able to relate each and every topic? How can we expect? How can we expect? I am saying that. How can we expect? No, we can't expect. Teachers, we can't expect. Okay, now moving on to the next, guided practice. When we think about guided practice, so yes, it provides structured support during practice, right? So yes, in guided practice, students starts applying what they have learned, right? But with teacher support. Yes, I know that I have said that what they have learned, right? But here student will get learn everything from what? With the support of teacher, right? Here interaction becomes very important, like discussion, interaction, maybe any kind of what, like a discussion, peer learning, feedback. This stage helps in strengthening understanding before students move to independent work, right? Means because we most of the time used to see that, suppose that I'm going to do any, yeah, you have, already aware from this word that there's a word which is what? Fresher. So it's all about what? Somewhere it is coming in what? Guided practice. Means he or she has already received so many kind of instructions, scenarios, then he or she is going to able to implement his learnings or knowledge. Right? When a teacher or any employee is experienced, you will be able to see the different scenario from the another one whenever you're going to compare. So that will not include in what? Guided practice. It's a best one example of this, right? So yes, and yes, it also enhances to provide the ability to work independently, right? So yes, we used to do in it monitor responses and give timely feedback. Guided practice, yes. Suppose that we as a teacher wants to guide. So what we have to do? We have to monitor. We have to track. And teachers, I have one suggestion to you that yes, you have to track your progress, and you are already aware from it. You will be thinking about this and that, what are you telling me? You will be thinking about me that, what are you telling me? We are already from aware from this, even we have already implemented, but yes, somewhere we are getting lagged. And where we are getting lagged, teachers, you need to think. We are evaluating, we are monitoring each and every student performance in a manual manner, and whichever it's not a solution, because yet it promotes overload to you, even not only to you, to all of us, right? Because manual practices right now are not in the trend. We can say that there is a trend of AI, there is a trend of automation, there is a trend of CS, right? So why we are not going to automate our tasks? We can prepare in the Google Sheets, pie chart, like some of the dashboards, right? We can still track na progress very well now. We can automate, right? We can encourage discussion to deepen understanding. We can encourage, right? Now move on to the next. Independent practice. Now from guided to independent. And what are you able to see? From guided to independent, what are you able to see? There is a shift. There is a transfer. There is a transition. You are able to see now? You are able to see there is a shift. There is a transition. There is a transfer. There is a rule of what? STT. STT, right? Means it enabled independent application of concepts, right? Application. Now we are moving on to about the keyword application, means apply. We will apply. Promote ownership of learning. But yeah, exactly. Because yes, ownership, yeah, it always promote, because this is where students take ownership of the learning. They work independently, apply concept, and build confidence, right? Even in the previous session, that was already about the, building future ready children, building the confidence. It was about that, right? For us as a teacher, this stage is very useful because it helps us identify gaps. That where is the gap and where we need to make a bridge, where we need to bridge that gap. It's very important. Provide opportunities for self-assessment. It always provide, right? Some of the time, what we used to say to our children that yes, Pacha, you are too much younger one right now, and yes, whenever you will get too much elder, so you will be able to see that how parents manage each and every pressure, whether is it a financial pressure, whether is it a technical pressure, whether is it a job related pressure, professional pressure, and whatever. We used to say now, even most of the parents used to say now, why they used to say. The reason is very simple, as I discussed, right? Identify learning gaps for targeted support, builds confidence through individual performance. At the end, what will happen? It will build confidence to our students, right? Move on to the next. Assessment in lesson, right? When we, because we are still now, we are talking about that, the introduction, explanation, and everything. And teachers, once again, please try to complete your polls. Try to complete your polls again. Okay. Huh. I was saying, so till then we have discussed everything. Now what will happen? Assessment. Then what will happen? Closure. So yes, we need to discuss about what? Assessment, right? So yes, when we talk about assessment, so yes, assessment is not something that should happen only at the end of the lesson. It should be continuous. Through questioning, observation, and quick checks, we can understand well students are learning or not. Right? We can say based on that we can adjust our teaching in the real time. Because yes, when we used to see, even used to watch, even so, we sometimes even in our daily teaching practices we are able to maintain the sequence. We are able to maintain, even engage our students in a meaningful manner. We are able to deliver our lessons or the topics or the bullet or modules in the meaningful manner, but somewhere we are unable to adjust our teaching. We are unable to adjust our teaching now. We are too much enabled. So yes, for bridging that particular gap, we have necessary requirement of what? Assessment, which is very mandatory or required one, right? Inform, we need to provide timely and constructive feedback. It's very important to maintain the timely and constructive feedback, right? Gather evidence of learning through responses, right? Some, because yes, we have a need of responses, right? That what exactly, because somewhere we used to ignore the responses, right? Right, it happens now. And yes, then we need to do what? Inform instructional decisions, and based on assessment. Based on assessment we need to do only this thing, right? Now move on to the next. Effective closure, as I earlier stated. Now, effective closure, right? So closure is very important stage, but often ignored. We used to ignore. We used to think that yeah, we have covered every stage. Like teachers, when I move on to about this, that today's session. So even I have already covered the main points of this session. The important points of the session, somewhere it's already covered. But yes, I will also do the closure of this session. So teachers, you need to do the same one. Sometimes, whenever we have a lack of time, we don't have much time to explain. Suppose that we have covered the important topics, important discussions we have conducted. After that, we used to skip the last step. And again, I'm saying that the first impression is the last impression. Means we need to frame our last impression in the very meaningful manner. It's very important to frame in a meaningful and effective manner, right? So yes, closure is very important, but often ignored. It is where we consolidate learning. We summarize key points, encourage reflection, and connect today's learning with the next lesson. This helps in better retention. Yeah. when we comes about this, so this somewhere helping in what? Retention will getting increase, right? Retention will get increase at the ending. Okay, now move on to another effective questioning. Because as teachers in the previous parts, we have already discussed that how to design a lesson, what are the key points, what is sequencing, what is flow, how to increase the retention of the student, engagement of the student. But yes, we need to know about effective questioning, because their topic or the model is all about only the single topic, which is this logical lesson flow and questioning. So yes, we have completed the first part of the presentation, what? Logical lesson flow. And now when we move on to about what? Effective questioning. What exactly is the questioning? So yet, effective questioning is all about, the most powerful tools in the teaching. It helps us understand what students are thinking, not just what they remember. It helps us to understand what they are thinking right now, what's moving on to your mind, right? So yes, good questioning promotes participation, thinking, and deeper understanding. Teachers, when we move on to the about what, there are two types of questioning: poor type questioning and good type questioning, right? Good questioning. So yes, engages all learners through inclusive questioning and learning, simulates critical and analytical thinking. Yes, analytical thinking is very important. Some of the time what happens, analytical thinking, suppose that we have not studied about anything, any topic even, and now tomorrow there is the exam. So what we used to do, we used to do analysis. You used to apply the process of what? Analysis we used to apply, right? We used to think that what are the previous year questions, what is the important one, what is the weightage of that particular unit and all. We used to now. So it's very important to develop the sense of analytical thinking into our children. It's very important, mandatory, right? Encourages a student articulation of ideas. Somewhere, it gets lax. The articulation of ideas must be moving on continuously. As I said, that assessment is the continuous process, right? So yes, teachers' articulation of ideas is also the continuous one, right? Enhances meaningful classroom interaction. At the end, what will happen? The teacher will be able to get engaged student very well. Retention will increase. Teaching will be effective and meaningful. And when the teaching will be effective, meaningful, and retention will high, and the average score will be high, right? So what will happen at the ending of the session? The one thing will happen in the ending of the session, that the interaction of the children will also get increase. Some of the time what will happen, you will be able to see that some of the, even this thing will also happen with the toppers also, that they are able to score good marks in the exam, even they have better future. But yes, what will happen? They are unable to interact. Why they are unable to interact? Because they are don't teachers don't have applied the elicitation strategies, means to get a speak from someone else. We have not developed them such kind of ability. And this is also a major point to get lack while teaching and to getting a learning outcome in an effective and meaningful manner, right? Move on to the next type of question. As I said, now there are two type of questions: good questioning and poor questioning. So yes, in the type of questions, different type of questions serve different purposes, right? Some questions check basic understanding, while others push student to think, analyze, and express their ideas. As teachers, we should use a variety of questions, right? Some of the time what happens at as I said, no, there is a word skip. We used to skip. So yes, teachers, what we need to do? Recall questions, build basic understanding. For basic understanding, we can do recall questions. We can discuss. Probing questions deepen student responses. It's also very important. Application questions concept connect learning to real life. Yes, when we move on about that term, that real life. So yes, we have a need of the single keyword, which is known as what? Application. We must know about the application of that particular topic, subject, area, and whatever. Right? We must be aware. Analytical questions. Once again, I have included the word analytical or analysis. Once again, it's very, very most important one, right? Analytical questions develop reasoning skills. Yeah, most of the time we used to say, bacha, you need to develop the reading skill. Reasoning skills. So yes, analytical questions are the only one. Those who are able to build or encourage or enhance reasoning skills. Even some of the competition exam, you will be able to see in the reasoning section, you will be able to see there is a question of what sequence related series like questions. Are you able to see? Can you please, participants, can you please give me in the what do we say? Yeah, can you please respond me? Can you please respond me? I request to each and every teacher that please respond me regarding this one, that while going you are going to appear in any kind of competition exam. So yes, you will be able to see that in the reasoning section, what happens, there is a question about related to series or sequence. And what is all about today's topic? Our topic is also about what, logical lesson flow, sequence, and questioning. Sequence, there is an inclusion of the word sequence. Nah? So yes, open-ended questions encourage multiple perspectives. Yes, open-ended. We need to implement. Closure consolidates learning and connects forward. Reflective, yeah, we are already aware from it. Divergent questions encourage creative responses. Divergent questions. When we used to, a race going, a race traveling or going, what will happen some of the time? Divergence. We used to see there is a divergence. So it's very important to maintain the divergent questions, encourage creative responses. It always, teachers, it always enhances. Right? Now the another slide is all about what? It's all about Bloom's taxonomy. It plays a vital role. From recall question to activate prior knowledge. What, when? Use understanding question to build clarity like this now. So yes, we should move beyond simple recall questions. Our aim should be to take students from remembering to understanding, applying, analyzing, and even creating. Right? This progression, what will do? It will help in developing higher order thinking skills. It's very important, teachers, when we move about this, that yes, we have a need to build or to frame our questions in this kind of manner. Right? Apply, when we are going to apply questions to connect learning. Right? So yes, what will happen? Application, A for application, and there is another word from the A is what? Automation. Automation will be done automatically. Once again, application, A for application, A for automation. Both are interrelated to each other. Again I'm saying, right? Ask analytical questions to develop reasoning. Design creative questions to extend thinking. Creating, now, as I said, now, creating, it's very important at the last level of the cognitive domain of Bloom's taxonomy. Right? Now moving on to the next, common mistakes in questioning. There are, few common mistakes we used to do, while questioning. uh, as teachers, we sometimes make common mistakes like asking only recall questions. Now, sometimes we don't used to maintain a flow or sequence, right? We are unable to maintain. Now, sometimes we only ask, same kind of question, like we are going to ask, suppose that recall based question. So we are only continuing with that type of questions. Suppose we are going to ask higher order thinking level questions, we are continuing with that kind of questions continuously. But yes, teachers, we don't have need such kind of this. Even you can still take an example of a question paper. A teacher, even we used to design a question paper in what manner, in what sequence? There is a sequence of what? Easy to moderate. Even it's a rare case one where we are instructed to design a question paper in such a way like the moderate to tough. Have you ever designed such kind of paper by your thinking or level? You will say no. until unless you will be instructed to do such kind of this, right? So yes, focusing on a few students, we used to do some of the times, like suppose that those students who are seated in the front bench or the column or row, we used to focus only on those, because yes, backbenchers or those students who are sitting in the back, suppose that if a student is not trying to learn, we also used to skip some to them. Now used to skip to focus on them. Why? It's not a good process. I know teachers, you are you are already familiar with this. But yes, sometime we used to get lag while teaching, used to forget all these things. I know that it's somewhere a basic point, but yes, we used to lag, we used to forget, we used to skip, and which is not mandatory according to the NEP 2020 always promotes holistic development of our children, right? Now, being aware of these mistakes is the first step towards improvement. Teachers, when we are moving about the improving of the mistake, right? So, when we are moving about the improvement about the stage, so it's very important because yes, it improves. Like common mistakes, as I'm going to say, overusing recall. Recall, try to ignore, try to structure a question, like some of the question belong from the recall base, some of the questions who are belong from the higher order thinking levels, and some of the questions you need to design in such a way that they are belonging from what, the moderate level, so that each and every child will be able to solve. And why I'm saying this, as I said that there is a keyword or the term very important, differentiated instructions or the differentiated learning, and when these both are different, our children's strength or uniqueness will be the different. Every child is unique, again I am saying, even 4 to 6 times I am already used this word, every child is unique, teachers. So yes, how the question you can frame in the same manner, do you expect from the student that every child will be able to answer about your question? Some of the time we used to ask any kind of question from any random student, and we used to say, beta, you're not studying, you're not focusing on your studies. Is it a solution to say something and he or she will implement from next day? No, your answer will no. So yes, it's important to maintain a balance, because yes, our all five fingers are not in the are not equal in our hand, right? We need to understand it's the ultimate truth that our all five fingers are not equal. You can see, right? Neglecting higher order thinking questions. Some of the time we used to skip. Suppose that we want to provide them a good marks to our children, to our student, we used to skip. We used to neglect the higher order thinking question. Are bhai kyun? Why? Why do we need to do this kind of this? We need to maintain a balance. Why we are not maintaining? When we will maintain a balance, again I am saying that your teaching will get automated automatically. Right? Now the next one is this. Teacher's role. What is the role of the teachers in it? Teachers, when we move on to this, that is, our role as teacher is not just to deliver content in a meaningful, effective manner. We need to plan structured lessons, ask meaningful questions, and create an environment where every learner feels comfortable to participate and think. Right? We need to maintain it. We need to ensure equitable participation of all learners, right? We need to ensure, and how we can ensure, first we need to develop the sense of maintaining or framing the questions or the logical lesson flow or structuring. Then we need to develop about what elicitation strategies that in which every student participates. When these two conditions will fulfill, it will ensure equitable participation of all learners. Provide adequate wait time for thinking. Some of the time we used to skip this step also. We don't provide a waiting time to think about that kind of it, any kind of topic, right? Differentiate instructions for diverse learner. In our classroom, again I'm saying that we have diverse learner. Every child is unique, everyone is different in the skill set, in the stack, right? So we need to design accordingly now. How can we design the same question from everyone? How can I design in the same manner? Right? Create a psychologically safe environment. It's very important. Some of the time children don't feel uh, get respected. Children don't feel respected, don't feel safe. Why? Because we are not maintaining a psychologically safe learning environment. Children is getting fear from you. Children is unable to share or discuss the problems with you. Try to avoid these kind of mistakes, right? Facilitates continuous understanding checks. We need to facilitate. Use feedback to guide and improve learning. Yes, when we comes about feedback, it's a major step. Even we as a teacher also get a feedback from the organization, from the schools, from the colleges, universities, right? Now, when we move about what key takeaways, to conclude, always remember structured lesson flow and effective questioning go hand in hand. If we plan well and ask the right questions, we can significantly improve student engagement and learning outcome, right? Teachers, we will be able to do effectively. It's teachers, it's very important to maintain, right? Because some of the time we used to get lack from it, right? And whichever is not required in the teaching of, according to the teaching, according to the goal of NEP 2020, as the norms are revised, that how to teach effectively in the classroom, right? Mm, right, it's very important to maintain a structured flow and structured, um, we need to get them feel valued. Some of the times what we used to do, we don't get them feel valued and respected, and that's why some of the time you will be able to see that they are you will be able to observe that they are somewhere irritating from your personality, your behavior. They are able to say that he or she has very old mindset, he is not aware about today's generation. Why they are going to say? Because they know that we are not updated, somewhere we are getting lag some of the things. I know that we all are updated, but as student don't feel this, and we need to get them feel about it that we are updated one, right? We need to get them feel. So yes, it's a major step. Yeah, these all are the secondary things like sequencing, flow, and all. First, we need to get them feel respected and valued. And when they will get feel respected and valued, your LOs will be fulfilled, your outcome will be better. When the outcome will be better, your image in the workplace, at the workplace, will improve, will get enhances, right? Or and the another thing is that what a student when feel respected and happy and safe, so yes, they will also automatically, again I am using the word automatically, they will get engaged very easily. They will definitely engage in a very sequential manner. Again, I am using the word sequential. They will also maintain a sequence, right? Because we know that there is a need of what collaboration. So yes, when a teacher and a student will collaborate to each other, then definitely learning becomes meaningful, and you will be able to deliver the topics in an effective manner, right? So yes, teachers, thank you so much now for today's topic. It's the end. Okay. uh, and now if there is any query, then I would like to answer, I would like to address, right? uh, Ask me. And teachers, please ask me continuously, because yes, I'm waiting. Now I would like to read the comments about what, yes, some of you have done. Promote thinking. Yeah. Good evening, everyone. Yes, good evening. Okay. Now, Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much for your feedback, as I can see in the chat section. Okay.
Hi, sir. Thank you so much for such a engaging and informative session. For our community of teachers, I'm sure they've had a lot of takeaways from the session. I could see a lot of people commenting in the chat that it was very informative, very interesting, fruitful, and everything. And I could see a lot of people interacting as well. So thanks for like exposing us to a lot of new information. Once again, thank you so much. And for everyone who joined us today, we hope you found the session informative. Please feel free to leave comments about the session so that, since Raghavendra had did an amazing session, we should like appreciate it. So once again, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. At the ending of this session, I would like to say heartful thanks to you, ma'am, even to whole Team Center, and especially to Hariruba, ma'am. Thank you so much for giving me this wonderful opportunity.
Yeah, thank you for joining the session. I hope you found the session helpful. If you have registered and filled out the feedback form for this session, check your participation record in the app in the My Learning session. So I'll quickly guide you through the instructions. First, open the Senda app on your device and then navigate to the ongoing webinar session. Click on submit feedback. Please note that the option will be available at 6 p.m. So the option will be available post 6, like after 4 minutes. So once the option comes up, click on the submit feedback. And then the code has been shared, which is 341. I repeat, the code to access the feedback is 341 for today's session. Complete the feedback form and you will be able to download your record of participation instantly. Uh, in case you have missed, I will guide you through the instructions once again. Open the Sender app on your device, navigate to the ongoing webinar section, click on submit feedback, which will be opened at 6. And then once you fill the feedback, enter the code, which is 341. As you can see on the screen, the code is 341. Complete the feedback form and you will be able to download your record of participation instantly. This new process was introduced to streamline your experience and ensure your participation is instantly recognized. SENDocs has been thoughtfully restructured around themes aligned with SENDA standards that are globally recognized and widely acknowledged. This updated structure has been implemented starting from the first week of March, and, and we hope that this helps you. Now, educators who are interested in facilitating SENDocs are warmly invited to visit center.org about us to explore the competencies and standards. You may also propose topics and key takeaways by writing to us at team@center.org, and our team will help you in aligning to the structured theme and competencies. Our team will be happy to review and connect with you based on the themes planned for each week. We look forward to meaningful collaborations and shared learning experiences. Thank you all for your participation in today's session. We truly appreciate your engagement. To register for more upcoming webinars, please visit the Center app. Have a wonderful day. Thanks again.